Gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Rover Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as we inching closer to the college football season week 1, starting this Saturday, I've already checked out our Rover Sports Show, the Heisman Watch 2020. Now we're going to look at a college playoff prediction. So if you look in the 5 years we've had the college playoff system, 10 teams have made it to the playoffs. We've had Alabama there every year. We've had Clemson there 4 times, Oklahoma 3, Ohio State 2, Notre Dame, Georgia, Washington, Michigan State, Oregon, and Florida State all there 1. Well, out of those 5 playoffs, how many teams have made it to the championship game? 5. Alabama 4 times, Clemson 3, Georgia, Oregon, and Ohio State all with 1. 3 of those have been Alabama versus Clemson. Clemson's won 2 out of 3. So Clemson's had 2 titles, Alabama 2 titles, Ohio State 1 title in the 5 years of playoffs. Interesting. Look at the odds for 2020 college football playoffs. Clemson is 2-1 odds, Alabama 3-1, Georgia 8-1, Oklahoma 10-1, Michigan 10-1, Ohio State 14-1. As you look at these, so you have Alabama and Georgia both out of the SEC. You know they're going to face off in the ACC championship game. More than likely, I know it's happened before, but more than likely, whoever loses this may not go to the playoffs. Depends on what some of the other teams do. So you've got to look at that. And does the loser go to the playoffs? I think if both teams go undefeated and the only loss is to one of the other team in the championship game, that would probably weigh a lot more on the committee than if one of these teams had a 1 loss going into that. Look at Michigan and Ohio State. Again, they face off. More than likely, and they're actually in the same conference of the Big Ten. So they're going to face each other in the regular season and even in the championship game. So if Michigan beats Ohio State, you have a 1 loss, and it's their only loss. Ohio State's the only loss. But Michigan wins the Big Ten. Who's in? So, I mean, there's so many different things that's going to affect that. So I look at the 3, I won't say locks, but the 3 that, okay, these teams are in the playoffs. Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma can, especially with Jalen Rose as quarterback, I think they can go through the Big 12. The Big 12 isn't overall that deep, especially at the bottom end. Then you kind of come with the Ohio State, Michigan, whoever kind of wins the Big 10. And then you have in the picture Georgia, Auburn. Maybe if somebody goes undefeated in the SEC or even a Notre Dame like last year. I don't know if anybody out of the Pac-12, I don't think Washington or anything is going to be a good enough record to be there. I think they're going to beat up on each other. The Pac-12 will. ACC, the only competition out of the ACC is going to be Clemson. So yeah, I think you kind of narrow down to one of these teams. Definitely Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. I have in. Final spot goes either to the Big 12 winner, Ohio State, Michigan, or to a 1-loss Notre Dame, Auburn, or Georgia. So we're just going to let the chips fall as they may. 3 for sure: Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. If you put a gun to my head and said pick one of these other teams, I would have to go probably Georgia. So that's going to be my final 4. We'll see how the season works out. We'll see if we have anybody else that emerges with 1 loss. I think you have to have at least 1 loss or 0 1 losses to make the playoffs. I don't think a 2-loss team, a 2-loss non-SEC team can make the playoffs. I think the only conference that could sustain 2 losses and have into the Final Four would be an SEC. I think Alabama has 2 losses they're in. I don't think there's a whole lot that Nick Saban can do not to be in the playoffs. Being there every year, unless you have just some crazy undefeated team out of the say Oklahoma goes undefeated, say Clemson goes undefeated, say Washington goes undefeated. Then you have a 1-loss, Alabama, or 2-loss Alabama. There's so many scenarios that would have to be just craziness for Alabama not to be there. So that is the college football playoff prediction show. Pretty much along the same lines as everyone else is predicting. We'll see how it happens. We'll see if there's that big surprise team. We'll see if Alabama can stay on top. What if Alabama has 3 losses? You have 5 teams with 1 loss. Could the committee say, no, you got 1 loss, Big Ten champs, you're staying home, we're putting Alabama in? We'll see. I don't think it's going to happen. Alabama's not losing more in the game, if that. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up. As always, make sure you check out the Heisman 2020 Watch. Make sure you check out Week 1. Also check out Week 11 Canadian Football League CFL coming to Robert Sports Show. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.